Real Virginia is proudly produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation. For almost a century, Farm Bureau has been a friend of the farm for all Virginians. Visit our website at vafb.com.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce the wonderful local products we enjoy. Brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Here's what's coming up on this week's show. We'll show you what's being done to reduce the number of food deserts in the Commonwealth. Chef Tammy shows us how to add a little salsa to your tuna steak. And we visit beautiful Patrick County in this month's County Close-Up segment.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Welcome back to Real Virginia, everyone. We're coming to you this week from Shalom Farms in Powhatan County, one of many facilities bringing fresh food to underserved communities. Food insecurity affects 1 in 9 Virginians, and many of those affected live in what's called a food desert. The U.S. Department of Agriculture defines a food desert differently between rural and urban areas, but the outcomes are often the same.
Over 1 million Virginians experience some form of food insecurity, and 8 of the 10 localities with the highest hunger rate are in rural and mostly Southwest Virginia, according to the advocacy group Feeding America, one of several organizations fighting hunger in the state. Food banks also play a critical role in reducing hunger.
We have made a lot of investments in our pantry network. So Virginia's food banks, we have 1,100 pantries throughout the state, and they often need more refrigeration capacity. They need more trucks. We've worked hard to bring resources where it's needed most. But a lot of our pantries are run by volunteers. They may be older, run out of a church basement. And so these are really good folks working really hard with limited resources to feed people in need. And so we are doing everything we can to fundraise for, bring in additional government dollars that are going to connect people to healthy food, because we know the better people eat, the more productive they're going to be, the more likely they are to stay out of the hospital and ultimately get on better financial footing.
While many Virginians above the age of 60 are experiencing food insecurity, the problem is also affecting the young as well.
One growing area of interest is the college hunger. A lot of folks who go to community colleges might be working part-time, supporting a family. And so there was a hunger-free campus grant program established that we're hopeful is going to help us extend into some rural communities and some other areas where folks are trying to better themselves and advance their career and make more money for their families.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture defines a food desert as a low-income census tract where a significant number or share of residents has limited access to a supermarket or large grocery store. Low access is defined as an area where at least 500 people, or 33% of the population, must live more than 1 mile from a grocery store in urban areas and 10 miles away from a store in rural areas. A food desert task force in 2017 helped the Fredericksburg Food Co-op get off the ground. The city was one of 8 primary localities examined. Today, fresh produce and other farm products are available to this once underserved community, and their products come from farmers in Madison, King George, and other nearby communities. The Fredericksburg Food Co-op is one of 156 locations participating in the Virginia Fresh Match program, where EBT users get twice as much value when they buy fresh foods. The program started in farmers markets, but organizers quickly saw the value in food co-ops.
Depending on whether you have transportation, it can be very difficult to get to a grocery store. But as you go further out in the Fredericksburg region, you find less and less availability. So, for example, in Caroline County, there are 2 grocery stores.
A poll by the group No Kid Hungry found 78% of Virginians report that groceries have become harder to afford in the last year. 42% showed at least one sign of food insecurity, such as not having enough food to eat, eating low-quality food, or eating a limited variety of food due to cost.
We've learned through research that fresh food is one of the first things that people take off their grocery list. Fresh food is perishable. can't always be sure that the kids are going to like what you bring home. Nobody wants waste. It's one of the great things about the Virginia Fresh Match program is that we're essentially providing some food risk-free. So it enables people to try new things, to expand their palates.
It's an irony that in many of the rural areas where fresh foods are grown, access to fresh food is limited. Stores such as the Fredericksburg Food Co-op and the SNAP Match program are trying to change that. For a map of food deserts by location, head to ers.usda.gov. In Fredericksburg, Virginia, I'm Burke Moeller reporting.
Food deserts are found all over the Commonwealth, and in 2024, the Virginia General Assembly established the current Virginia Commission to End Hunger, which is charged with developing an action plan every 2 years to address and end hunger in the state. In March 2025, Governor Glenn Youngkin signed the Hunger-Free Campus Food Pantry Grant Program, providing $500,000 to pantries serving Virginia colleges and universities.
Coming up on From the Ground Up, we're going to learn how to grow ginger in the home garden. Stay with us.
The ginger plant has no shortage of uses for food, medicine, or drink. Ed Olson with Virginia Cooperative Extension shows us how to grow ginger from the ground up.
My name is Ed Olson with From the Ground Up, and we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farms. I'm here today with Dr. Sanjun Gu, and he's going to talk to us today about how we can grow ginger in the home garden. Sanjun, what do we have going on here? What do we have? What are we seeing?
So what you see here is ginger plants and the ginger rhizome. Ginger rhizome is the part you eat. It's not actually a root, it's a stem.
Okay.
So I'm showing here the ginger, the resources you can use to plant ginger in your home.
Okay.
So what I want to show you today is actually the different stages of a ginger plant, and also in a minute I'm going to show you how to transplant them.
And so how do we go from this to this to this to this to the bigger ones we've got around us?
So it's very easy. People think ginger might be hard to produce. Actually, you can do it. It's very easy to do. To get a ginger seed, for home gardeners, you can definitely go to the grocery stores, buy those old seeds, especially if you have if you see buds on them. Okay. So that's perfect for your home garden setting. So if you want to do this early in the year, like in February or something, you can just buy from the grocery store, choose them with buds, and then you can plant them inside your house with a smaller container like that. And slowly you grow into smaller one like this stage, and this one like this big. If you want to do bigger plants, you want to do a little bigger pots. Smaller one like this will be just fine. So it takes a little longer to grow a bigger stage, but don't worry because no matter how slow or how big they do, when you put in pots, you can plant them, they will survive.
And how deep in the soil in the pot do you put the rhizome?
For ginger transplant like this, you can just cover them about 2 inches above. That's all you need to do.
And so we can grow them all year long outside in the containers or in the garden, and then in the fall, we can harvest it?
You cannot grow all year long. Ginger is actually a tropical crop.
Okay.
So you have to grow them in our region anyway. You grow them in May to late May. That's why you want to start your transplant inside your house. And then you transplant them. So for ginger, you harvest in the garden when the heavy frost hits them. And also, if you put them in pots, you can move them inside. They can grow longer.
Okay. And so do you want to show us how we would transplant these into pots and show us the rhizome?
Yeah, definitely want to do. But before that, I want to make sure that ginger, after transplanting ginger, about 2.5 months, you can start harvesting to eat.
Oh, okay.
So I will show you how to transplant really quickly. So for people like me, I don't like gloves, but I recommend you put the gloves on and get your supplies ready. So I'm going to show you so the pot size. So usually you want the bigger size, about probably a foot, about a little bit foot in diameter. So make it a little hard or easier to grow. And you have to wet them first, and then you transplant them. So I want to show you how I do it. You got this one. Of course, if you want to use this is fine. But the soil we use is very easy to work with. To grow like ginger like this this stage, you can put them here and put them flat and bury them about 2 inches in top.
Okay.
That's it. So, and then just wait for them to come out. You need to be a little patient because they grow slow. For a smaller one like this one, you can see the difference here. The ginger roots over there, you see the ginger roots. Yeah, look at the roots, right? And then some of them grow a little bigger, like this. You can see that. And you transplant them here. It's very easy to do. For the size of this pot, you can just do one. Yeah, so plant this one like this. For this one, this is even bigger stage. If I dig it out, you see that the ginger roots will be there already. You got some young ginger there. Some of the smaller one right here. So we call it the baby ginger. So this one, after transplant them in the pots for 2.5 months, you can have them eat them.
Okay.
You don't have to wait until end of the season. So same thing here, you transplant them in pots, put a little soil on top of it, water them, you're done. So this is your baby ginger.
That's kind of small. Is that what you would harvest off of there to eat?
No, they're not ready to harvest yet, but they're babies. So if you get that one here, we can see it. So
this one?
Yeah, this one, I use the two here. This one is a little bigger. You can see from here, and you can see the rhizome is much bigger now here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the difference between the old ginger and the new ginger,
yeah.
And this is what you would harvest.
This, I will not harvest until later, but you can definitely harvest. It's harvestable now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gu, for showing us how to grow ginger in the home garden.
You're welcome.
For From the Ground Up, I'm Ed Olson. See you next time.
From the Ground Up is presented with the generous advice and assistance of Virginia Cooperative Extension. Visit their website at ext.vt.edu.
Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley. Coming up on Heart of the Home, seared tuna with a citrus salsa. We hope you'll stay with us.
Tuna with citrus salsa. Sounds great for a summertime supper. Chef Tammy shows us how to make it from the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Chef Tammy Brawley from the Green Kitchen, and welcome to Heart of the Home. Today I'm going to show you a delicious summertime recipe to do on your grills or a pan in your kitchen. We're going to do some seared tuna with a citrus salsa. Love this recipe. Got some beautiful tuna here. You know, tuna does come in off the coast of Virginia, and we're fortunate enough to have that here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a marinade first, and it's going to be in the refrigerator for about an hour. We're going to start with a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. And then there's a little ingredient that it's typically not found in your grocery stores, but you can find it in your Asian markets, and that is a dark soy. And that just basically means it's really sweet and a little thick. So we've got 2 tablespoons of that going into our marinade. We have got a teaspoon of sesame oil, and this is a 1/2 teaspoon measure, so I'm just going to go ahead and do 2 of them. And then we want a 1/2 teaspoon of sriracha or your favorite hot sauce. That's up to you. All right, and then we want to add actually some chopped garlic and some ginger. Your recipe actually does say to basically smash the ginger. I find it to be better if you actually grate it. You get more flavor out of it. So we're actually going to go ahead and grate some ginger on our microplane. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm going to slide that into our marinade cup here. Don't worry about making a mess. All right, more ginger into the marinade. And then we're going to take some garlic that I have gone ahead and smashed, but I like to go ahead and run a knife through it anyway. Some smashing does produce more flavor, but I like breaking it down a little bit. All right, going to slide that into our marinade. All right, we're going to whisk this up. Got these gorgeous tuna steaks we're going to put into our dish to go into the refrigerator. We're going to pour the marinade right over it. And we're going to let this go about an hour. You may even want to let it go about a half an hour and then pull it back out of the refrigerator and turn the steaks. That's up to you. We're going to sit this over to go into our refrigerator. And in the meantime, we're actually going to make a citrus salsa to go over top of this tuna. A citrus salsa to me is always just delicious in the summer, taking advantage of those delicious citrus flavors. And in this case, we're using an orange, or actually a couple of oranges. What you do not see here is you do not see the peel. I did this earlier. You want to cut all of the peel off the orange and all of the white part. The white part is called pith, P-I-T-H. It can be very bitter, so you don't see any of that white part there. Then you want to take a small paring knife and you want to start down the membranes. You'll see here, nice little thin membrane, which I don't want in my salsa. And then I'll go on the other side of that. This technique is actually called supreming, and it's you're making these little orange slices, these beautiful tender orange slices, and we're just going to kind of chunk them up a little bit. This is somewhat time consuming, it really is, but to me there are some things in the chef world that are just well worth the effort, and this is certainly one of those things. I really do not want the membrane. I'm going to take that off. I don't want that on there. You do want to be careful though, because you could easily slip and cut your hand. Now one thing I do like to do is after I have gotten the membranes out and the segments, I like to come back and actually squeeze that, get a bit more juice in there. Now to this we're actually going to be adding a 1/4 cup of chopped red onion, a juice of a couple of large limes. We're going to throw in a little cilantro here. Actually have a little chopped garlic as well. And once again, a little dab of sriracha. All right, we're going to stir this up, get it nice and mixed. And when our tuna is done searing, we're going to top it with this beautiful citrus salsa. All right, and we're back. Our tuna has been marinating for about an hour. You can see it's here in our nice little dish. Now, I've already got a little oil warming up in my pan over here, but what we're going to do in the meantime for our tuna is we're actually going to grind some whole peppercorns. Rainbow peppercorns are really the best way to go with this. The pink and the green offer a little bit more of a subtle flavor versus just the black. But I don't want it ground finely, okay? So we're just going to keep it kind of coarse. We're going to put it into a handy-dandy little spice grinder, coffee bean grinder. I love using these for everything. So it's going to make a little noise. Now, the more quiet that gets, the more fine of a ground it is. And I know I didn't want that. I want a little coarse grind. So let's see what we've got here. Put our peppercorns right into that. Oh, it's perfect. You can still see the color from the peppercorns. It's wonderful. What we're going to do is we're going to move our tuna out onto our board while our pan is warming up. We're going to take our fresh ground peppercorns. We're going to coat our tuna on both sides. Push those corns right in there. Turn them over. This is some gorgeous tuna. Now we're going to sear it off. It's going to take about a minute per side. That's for a medium rare. If you like your tuna more done, then you would leave it in for about a minute and a half. If you like it more rare, then I would go for about 30 seconds per side. The key is that it does stay pink on the inside. So we have our pan nice and warm here. I probably have it on about a medium heat. You should be able to hear the sizzle. And indeed we did. All right, so we're going to go about a minute. I'm actually going to set a timer. And then we'll flip the sides and do the second side for the same amount of time. There it goes. So a minute per side will give us a nice medium rare color. All right, so at about a minute per side, we're ready to flip these beautiful steaks. You want a nice little sear on the one side. And we're going to let them go another minute. All right, at about a minute per side, we're ready to pull it out. It is still nice and pink on the inside. To plate it, we want to go right on top of those greens. I wouldn't really consider this one portion for somebody, but it is certainly something that can be divided in half for your guest. Right on top of the greens. And some of that gorgeous and delicious citrus salsa on top. Wonderful summertime dish, nice and refreshing flavors. And this salsa would be delicious with just chips too. All right, and then maybe a little chopped green onion to go over the top. And there you have it. Seared tuna with the citrus salsa. I'm Tammy Brawley with The Green Kitchen. Join us next time on Heart of the Home.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafb.com/recipes, as well as on Chef Tammy Brawley's website at greenkitchenrichmond.com.
Virginia is home to 2 native ginger species, wild ginger and heartleaf ginger, 2 herbaceous perennials with heart-shaped, velvety leaves and powerful health perks. Ginger is packed with anti-inflammatory properties and belly-soothing benefits. Because of Virginia's short growing season, we often harvest baby ginger, which is tender and doesn't need peeling. If you want mature ginger, you can just grow it in a container, bring it inside when it gets chilly, and harvest in about 8 to 10 months.
Patrick County lies where the Virginia Piedmont meets the Blue Ridge Mountains. Elijah Griles has more on how farm families there are the fabric of their community.
Tucked into the Blue Ridge Mountains of southwest Virginia, Patrick County is known for its magical fairy stones and its stunning mountain vistas. But there's something else enchanting here. It's agriculture. From flower bulbs to cattle farms and orchards to greenhouses, join us as we meet the farmers helping this mountain community thrive.
Our grandpa started this business in the 70s. He started out on a fishing trip, and when he would go fishing, he would pick up a truckload of plants on his way back and peddle them on his way home to make enough money to pay for the gas for his fishing trip.
Sisters Amy Lane and Ashley Payne are the 3rd generation to operate Puckett greenhouses in the Ararat community. Their company has grown to include over 55 greenhouses producing year-round, and a greenhouse manufacturing business.
We were both raised in this industry and raised in these very greenhouses. Our mom always says that she brought us to work every day and we were raised in the dirt bin, so we've literally been here since we were babies. And I mean, we love what we do. We love this industry. We love the growing. We love our employees and our group that we have here, and we love the family environment that we have.
Like Puckett Greenhouses, Ridgecrest Farms is also a family affair, but Dorinda Bray had no intention to fall in love with agriculture.
When I was a teenager, I said I would never marry a farmer. I was moving as far away from Stokes County and Lawsonville as I could get because I didn't want to be on a farm anymore. I made it 3 miles and I married a farmer.
Dorinda Bray and her husband Mark run Ridgecrest Farms with their son John, raising breeder chickens and cattle across Patrick County and neighboring Stokes County, North Carolina. While they mostly sell tractor-trailer loads of live cattle, they also market beef to local consumers.
One time a couple of years ago, we had a neighbor show up and wanted some steaks, and I thought, cool, so I sold him some steaks, and Dorinda came home, or a few days later, she said, I had some steaks sold that they have disappeared. Do you know where they are? And I said, yes, ma'am, I sold them. And so at that point, one of us had told a lie. So we decided right then, we don't market and she don't raise.
The Brays now have an on-farm store and sell their beef to customers throughout the region. Business expansion has allowed John Bray to return to the family farm.
He was at a place here where he was kind of at a spot where he wanted to step back on some rented ground. And so I saw the opportunity to come home and pick up the places, that he wanted to let go and to do my own stuff. And he had enough work around here that he could, hire me full time as well.
According to the latest Census of Agriculture, there are 452 farms in Patrick County, covering 70,893 acres. The market value of crops is $7 million, with fruits accounting for $2 million and nursery products earning $1.2 million. Livestock brings in $8.5 million, with cattle warranting $4.9 million. In the mountainous meadows of Dan community, Aaron Sheeler raises beef cattle just a few miles off the famed Blue Ridge Parkway. He says a U.S. Department of Agriculture sustainability program helped to expand his rotational grazing.
It helps the grass to recover. You'll get a lot more healthy grass. It helps the cattle not be as particular about what they eat. From the conservation side, the reason they want to help you with these projects is primarily to keep the cattle out of the water. So you build your fences back from the streams, and then they'll help you with the watering systems.
Sheeler and his mother have also connected their rural mountain town to the rest of the country with a unique crop.
We started in dahlias when my mother had maybe about 20 tubers in her garden. Then the next year she divided them and bought a few more, and we had about 100 varieties, and she shared some with me, and between us we ended up with maybe 200, and we decided it was just too many to have all at once, so we started selling online in Facebook groups and found that there was a market there for it. And the next year we went from 200 to 2,000 and opened up a little online shop and sold to every state in the country, including places like Hawaii and Alaska.
Even though only a few months into the job, working with producers like Sheeler is what drives Patrick County Extension Agent George Stovall.
It seems like I've spent a whole lot of life doing it service or for the community anyway, and Extension is just another great outreach for that to help the producers that are in the county. And I'll tell most of them, I may not know it, but I'll figure out some way how to find it and I can help them.
Meeting the needs of customers is a common thread for all these farmers, and Doug Wade and his family do just that through their orchards and roadside produce stand.
I got a lot of local people that come in every single week. I mean, it's like Wade's is their grocery store. I mean, they come up there and they come every week, and I can almost tell you what they're going to buy when they come in the door. I know that this person likes apples, I know this person likes peaches, or this lady gets 3 tomatoes for the week, and you just learn people.
Whether they're growing flowers to brighten yards or raising beef and fresh fruits to fill tables, these farm families are helping Patrick County flourish. For Real Virginia, I'm Elijah Griles.
We're so glad you could join us to celebrate all the bounty Virginia has to offer. From the kitchen to your home and garden to our beautiful wide open spaces, we're proud to say that this is Real Virginia. For everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a great week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay.